Hello, hello, most beautiful stars. There was a pause there. Oh, greetings, greetings. Happy holidays. Hello, hello. I see that seeker came in. Good to see you, my dear. It's 7 p.m. Do you know where your children are? um, I'm never on this late, but all through the holidays. So for us in this house, it's Christmas. So Christmas Eve and now Christmas Day. Y'all, I was trying to get to you. Good to see you, Seeker. I hope Neil and you and everyone had a great holiday. I kept trying to get to everybody. Oh my goodness. I am realizing maybe y'all are going through this because I don't really have a topic. I have some decks in front of me. I have beautiful lighting. I'm here with you all. People are going to start funneling through. What I kind of realized more so this holiday than others is because a lot of people relocated this Christmas with like the different time zones. When can we call this person or call that person or do that? Because none of our family's together. They're scattered. Now everybody's scattered. The great COVID did that, definitely. I wonder, in 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 years from now, kind of like when we do the Edgar Casey life skills stuff, and I'm always bringing that 100 years forward. I wonder what the future is going to say, about 2020 and 2021 and 2022 and 2023. It's like, what are they going to say? Are they going to laugh at us? Or are they going to go, wow, that's what they did? Are they going to have compassion and understanding and grace? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not there. I'm here with you. But with that, the great migration of 2020, the family's all scattered. And so yesterday I kept going, I got to go live, like in my mind with my beautiful inner voice. It was like, I got to go live. I told everybody I'm going to go live. I could not get a schedule down for the life of me because everybody lives in different time zones now. I see that Lucky Stone 888 came in. Good to see you. Lucky's such my buddy. And knowing that Lucky was working, knowing that Lucky then needed to sleep, I let him be. I did not bother Lucky at all. Can you believe that? Can you believe? I sent him a text. But can you believe that? I wanted to bother him so bad. Oh, so good to see you, my friend. And if anybody that comes in, whenever you come in, I will bring it up again. I think Lucky and I are going to be talking about a little bit about 2025 tomorrow night. Um, yeah, geez, December 27th, 8 p.m. here. Catch it. Lucky Stone 888 and I, Esoteric Tea. I think we'll be talking a little bit about 2025. I think that might be a two-parter, you know, talking about 2025. But I think we need a topic, and I think others should start picking. I do. I'm probably tonight going to talk a little bit about changes that are going to be happening here at SML. That will also partake with Lucky Stone 888. I'm going to be talking, I don't know, we're just going to hang out. I hope everybody's unwinding, and I hope more people come in. Speaking of time zones, I didn't know when to post. I didn't know when to do this. I know Shelly out in California, it's probably like 4 in the afternoon for her, like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. Lucky's here with me on the East Coast. There's people here that are not even in the States. I just did not know when to make this happen. The holidays are not, we all got different schedules. People talk about those holiday dinners, those Christmas dinners. Also, and I'm going to also Thanksgiving dinners, right? So the two dinners, the two big dinners. I, well, damn, I was over 40 years old when I found out that people do those at like noon, 12 o'clock. Never knew that. Never knew that in the world. So Shelly said it's 4:04 out by her in Northern California. Um, so if you had a holiday dinner and you're listening to this later, cool, thank you. Um, leave a comment. Let me know when is usually the standard for when you guys and yours has a family dinner like that, a holiday dinner. Is it 12 o'clock? Is it 2 o'clock? I grew up, ours was always around 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. in the afternoon. I just kind of thought everybody did it that way because you only know what you know until you know differently. And growing up, if you only go to your family dinner, right? Because that's what most people do, you just go with it and you're thinking, okay, everybody eats around 4 o'clock. No, that's not the case. The majority is much earlier. Who knew? And I guess I don't know why. Like, why so early? Who eats a big old meal at noon? But if you do, I ain't judging. I'm just like, do you like it? Do you like it that way? Because I'm sure you're hungry again by 7 o'clock. How's it work? Let me know. I'm curious. Okay. Okay, Venus. Okay, cool. Good to see you. So Venus said they eat usually around 3 or 4 and they're in is that Minnesota? I gotta put my glasses on to see all this. Okay, but still 3 to 4. Yeah, because the noon thing throws me off. But you know what? My grandparents. So one set of grandparents, they had supper. And what I learned, or at least what I was told, this is what I was told. So I don't know if I'm accurate. That supper and dinner are actually very two different things. And it doesn't mean what you're eating or what have you. It's the time of day you're eating. So like my grandparents would eat supper, but at between like 3 and 4. Oh, Maryland. Thank you, Maryland. Jeez, me and my geography. Venus is in Maryland. Well, wow, good to see you. I think I didn't know anybody in Maryland was viewing, so glad you're here. Um, I'm horrible at geography, by the way. Um, yeah, I am kind of babbling here, but I am so horrible at geography because I cheated. Yeah, I was that kid and I kept justifying it. Um, well, I'll tell that story in a minute. Because I should tell that story. Um, so what I was told is that supper is more at that like 3 o'clock time. So growing up, there was a big pocket of time that a bunch of myself and my cousins would be dropped off at that grandparents' house to then get on the bus to go to the school because there were a lot of divorces happening and but the parents wanted to keep us all in the same everybody at the same school. So we would just use our grandmother's address. So we would go to her place after school, get dropped off there and wait for our parents to pick us up when they got off of work. Well, roughly about the time that we're sitting there waiting for our parents to come home or to come get us, they started eating supper. And I was like, why are you eating dinner so early? And my grandma would snap and she would say, we're eating supper. It's not dinner. It's supper time. So how is what it was explained to me is that supper is more of that like 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock time period. And then if you get hungry later in the night, like 7:30, 8 o'clock, you just snack a little bit. You might make yourself a little bit of a sandwich or something. And that's the difference is that supper is that 2 to 4 hour period, When dinner, at least here in the States, and I am talking about the States here, dinner is more representative between that 5 and 7 o'clock hour. That's what I was explained. Well, that was the explanation given to me as a child. So, interesting, right? It has nothing to do with, like, if you're eating a sandwich both times or if you're eating a big grand meal, meat and potatoes. It's the time. And I do think it goes back to farmers because when I was in college, one of my science classes, because I'm not a science person, I love science. Science is great. It's more, I don't retain it the same. So one of my science courses, because I was trying to take the easy stuff, was nutrition class. Phenomenal class, by the way. Learned so many little tidbits. Okay. So what I learned was she was very emphasizing how humans are not eating the way we should be. And or how our bodies got accustomed to eating for hundreds of years. We eat very different now, especially like dinner. Dinner was not really a thing. So she explained that farmers, which was the majority at one point, they would actually get up and have a bit of a snack and then start some of the work, like the prep work around the house and the barn, let's say, because you got to get out into that field. And that's usually when breakfast was being made, and breakfast was the biggest meal of the day. This is why Denny's came out with that, like, farmer's breakfast. It was the biggest meal of the day. Eggs, sausages, toast, bacon, biscuits and gravy, whatever. I mean, it was huge. You're eating a ton of food. And then she told me, this teacher, brilliant lady, that then the farmers would eat a bowl of oatmeal at the very end of it. Like, on the far back, you just stuffed your whole body, and then you would eat oatmeal. And the whole class was, "What? Like, how can you even put oatmeal in your body?" And then she further explained that then the farmer would then be out in the field, hoeing the land, doing whatever, tilling the land, doing the hardcore work as our beloved farmers do, right? Still to this day. Well, then maybe an hour or 2 after breakfast, well, that oatmeal, which is like the best, hmm, fiber, let's say, would get to working and they would be able to relieve themselves. And then that would bring the energy forward from all the delicious food that they originally ate, the eggs, the sausages, everything. It would have been processed, pushed out, and then they would have all this energy, but not be bogged down by this heavy meal to work the next 3, 4 hours out there in the fields, and then come back and eat dinner at like 2, 3 o'clock, supper, and then they would go back and work around the home and putting back their tools and cleaning their tools and cleaning the horse and brushing the horse. And they would finish up everything and then go back inside, unwind, have a nightcap. If they get a little hungry, maybe have a piece of toast as they're usually sitting around reading the Bible or reading whatever, or even listening to the radio when that came into play. Makes so much more sense, even to when it way back with the shepherds, grazing, that they would have a pouch on them and they would just graze all day with their flock, with nuts and berries and maybe some meat, jerky in it, and they would just graze all day. It's interesting how different. I think both of them, if you're grazing or eating a big meal in the morning and then doing some hard work, I think both are very different than how we do it today. So that is where the term supper came. And it also tended to be attached to the dinner that happened after church. So if you're going to church and then you got Bible study and then you got talking, there's a lot of talking. There's a whole lot of talking. Lots of talking. By the time you get home and somebody's making dinner, yeah, you're about to eat that at like 2:30, 3 o'clock. So it's the time. Isn't that fascinating? Isn't that so fascinating? Good to see everybody. And I'm going to get back to why I'm so horrible at geography. I'm going to speak some truth about how I was. Oh God. Okay. I'm going to tell the story, but I see that Chloe came in. Good to see you. Merry Christmas to everybody. Merry Christmas to Venus. Merry Christmas to Lucky Stone. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah. Happy light. Happy Yule. Happy you. Happy you beautiful star. Okay, so before I pick a card, I'm going to tell a story. Because I already said, so MD is for Maryland. Good to know. I'm going to lock that into my memory. Thank you. Um, I was doing geography in 5th grade. And I do want to put out there that in 5th grade, I was still reading at a 2nd grade level. It was not until middle school that all of a sudden something clicked. And I just went for it. And actually, what it was R.L. Stine. His Fear Street series was like the first books that I was like, ooh, this is good compared to all the boring stuff they have you read in younger grades. I like the stuff that was read to us, but not for me to read. It was very obnoxious. And everyone in my family will tell you that I continuously, as I would try to read out loud, I would start retelling the story differently, and they would say, "Courtney, read the words on the page." It was a very frustrating thing for my parents and loved ones. So I was having to learn geography, all the 50 states and their capitals, or in 5th grade. A horrible year, 5th grade. And the teacher on Monday, she would give us, it was just a blank map of the United States. And, maybe we're over here in New England. Maybe we're in the South. Then maybe we're over in the West. And we would just have to fill out maybe, give or take, 5 to 10 states. Fill it out with the state name, fill it out with its capital, all that stuff, fill it out. And then you're supposed to study that all week. Well, I never really studied, and it did cause me issues later in life. I still didn't study. I study now for you all, which is weird. When I really think about it, I never actually studied. Well, I didn't study what they gave me to study. That's the difference. Um, well, then this little 5th grader, Courtney, realized after I'm failing every test. It's just a thing that I was doing. And I always failed. I am the product of No Child Left Behind. I did nothing but fail. Um, but then I realized the test that she then would, so then that was Monday. You're supposed to study all week. Friday, you're taking the test. And I would fail. Well, I came to figure it out that she was using the same blank um, images of the United States. So, yeah, little Courtney, 5th grade Courtney, who had severe anger issues and a chip on her shoulder, would just simply, let's say, gently, quietly, unsuspiciously, which is not a word, I would take the test that was blank and I would just, move that into my book and take out the one from Monday that was correct. But then I was smart enough to, well, Courtney, you've been failing your whole life. You can't get it perfect. So I'd start like erasing things, moving some letters around, messing some stuff up. But at least I was passing. I was passing to the point. So I was also in, I was also in like LD and BD classes. but it wasn't full time. It was like I was that weirdo kid, if y'all went to school with one, that got pulled out every day to go be with other kids. That was me. And bless us weirdos, because man, we're triumphant. And so I was trading for a few weeks, right? Well, then all of a sudden I'm in my LDBD class, and there's this sweet guy, like sweet kid, I should say. His name was Zach, really sweet. I think a lot going on inside his house as well. Do know all those classrooms are filled with kids that there's a lot going on at home. And the teacher had found out that I had been doing really well with this geography. So she turned to me and said, "Hey, why don't you help Zach study? You two go out in the hall and you tell him how you're memorizing this, and you tell him that." Now she brought, like, these two teachers brought a whole nother human in the mix. Like, if I'm going to be a bad guy, I need it to just be that I'm a bad guy. So then I'm out in the hallway with Zach. And Zach's like, "I don't know how you're memorizing this. I don't know how you're doing this. We basically are the same in all sorts of skills. Like, we basically, both of us can't read. How are you doing that?" And he's beating himself up. Y'all, what am I supposed to do? So I tried lying about studying. That didn't work, and it was short lived. So then I just said, "Zach, listen, I've been cheating. You should have seen his face. You probably should have seen my face." And shock. And I said, "I don't know what to do here because I've been cheating. And now they're asking me to tutor you. I don't know what to do here." I said, "But you're probably failing them as just as bad as I am. So I can teach you how to cheat." Oh my gosh. But I said, "But that has to be your full decision. There's no pressure from me, but I also will not be able to help you learn how to memorize these things." And so we just sat there in silence for like the longest time because I was allowing him to. I didn't want to sway him anyway because I mean I knew I was doing something wrong. See, choices, everybody. We do know right from wrong. We do know love from fear. I was choosing wrong because I was tired of failing everything. But then they presented me to help someone else, knowing that I was doing wrong. So I sat there and we just sat in silence. We just sat in silence. And kind of close to when our time would be up, I turned to Zach and I said, "So, what do you want me to do here? I can teach you how to cheat because they make it very easy. Or you can keep failing." And he was like, "Well, will you tell him that you're cheating?" I went, "No. This is the first time I've never not failed." And which was the truth. It was the first time I'd never not failed something. And and he said, "That's why you're doing it." I said, "Yeah, of course it is." I said, "Aren't you tired of failing?" And with a small little conversation, I taught him how to cheat. He did it twice. And then both of our consciences got to us, and we both went into agreement to not do it again. And we didn't, and we just went back to failing. That's a very long story to tell you why I don't know my geography. There you go. That was a little story of little Courtney, knowing I was doing the wrong thing, getting accolades in a way because of doing the wrong thing, and then having a horrible amount of consciousness just kind of battering me around for like 2 weeks. Um, Zach was a sweet boy, and I think it was more so I don't think he wanted to stop cheating. I think it was me because I knew I corrupted him. Like, oh my gosh, it's one thing if I'm corrupt. I can't corrupt somebody else. Oh my goodness. So That's why I'm horrible at geography. I don't know where anything is. I just, we're all together. We're all one. There is no separation. I see that Richard came in. Good to see you. Rico. Um, Kiki came in. Is that Kiki Law? Kim came in. Oh, I see Kim. Good to see you. Happy holidays. I'm hoping that everybody's doing great. I do. I hope everybody's doing great. And I want to put out there, if you have any questions you want to ask about anything metaphysical, spiritual, heck, a personal story like I just shared, which was way off the cuff. Um, anything. If you want to throw out a topic that Lucky and I can talk about tomorrow night for our 8 p.m. Esoteric Tea, kudos, gracious, because we're thinking about topics. Let's talk about the changes here at Stars of Morning Light in 2025. First of all, Lucky Stone and I have decided that starting in January, so we're going to keep telling everybody all through this coming week that we are actually going to move to Saturday night, folks. So, Esoteric Tea, come January of 2025, is going to be moving to Saturday at 8 p.m. I think it's going to work out well. Exactly. Lucky just said, not tomorrow. Not tomorrow. That's just 2 days away. January. So that would be January the 3rd. If you guys ever see me look over that way, or reverse, I guess, in your case, I'm actually looking at a calendar. I always have a calendar right there for when I'm talking with you or I'm talking with Lucky and I'm looking to make sure things line up. So January 3rd of 20, oh no, that's a Friday. January 4th. Oh, good. January 4th. That Saturday. Lucky and I will be on Saturday. And y'all, we will be posting about this. We will remind nonstop tomorrow night. We're moving to Saturday come 2025. Um, for a lot of reasons. We want to be able to spend great time with people. And now that I have reached 500, bless all you beautiful stars. Oh my God. I don't want to start crying again. um, so I'm gonna tell a sincerity about this. It is, um, it's huge when someone starts a channel, and like myself, and there was no like prep to it because I didn't even understand all the social media stuff. When there isn't any big detail prep to once you start, and you're just going, and you're going organically, and you're figuring it out as you go. And also there's not a whole lot of like high tech aspects. I did get a new camera. I got to put that together. When there's not like all the editing and you look great all the time, and also you're kind of a niche like Stars of the Morning Light is. It is, y'all, it's kind of painful in a way to get to that 500. 500 is a very big benchmark. Now, I'm sure everybody go, no, isn't like 1,000, isn't, that 100,000, isn't that a benchmark? At the very beginning, you have to get to at least 500 to be eligible to, it's like damn near exist here on the YouTube. So it does. It's it's in my mind, I thought, okay, 500, easy peasy. I stayed at 30 for like 6 months. It is not easy. It is not easy. So getting to 500, and bless all of you. Thank you. Yeah, it was 3 years in the making. I started this channel, Stars of the Morning Light, same name, same everything. The purpose has kind of wavered, but I'm trying to stay on track with that. Um, November of 2021. So it's December. And y'all, this is what's going to be funny is not this past year that we're about to get out of, not 2024, but somewhere early in 2023, the Akashic was like, by the end of December, you will have 500. And I'm like, right on. Yes. I love hearing that. This is how the Akashic works sometimes, folks. I should have said which December. I should ask for more clarity. Because by the end of this December, I pretty much 2 years later, I reached my 500, and man, when it happened, I just looked up and I went, "Y'all did tell me the end of December." Like, I should've sometimes when you're getting personal information like that, you're like you get so excited, like, "Yes, I'm gonna hit that milestone," and then that December passes, I was nowhere near 500, and I just went, "What the heck?" And then maybe a few weeks later, I went, "Oh, damn. I never asked which December." So, you all that have subscribed and stayed with me, you're all a part of that. See, this is how the Akashic works. Like, it is seen from such a different perspective than we can even fathom that they knew all of you would be here. They knew I would have 500 by the end of December 2024. It's oh, so gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. I see that Big Dad standing tall came in. Good to see you. Happy Yule, Merry Christmas, all the festivities, celebrations. I see Teresa came in. Good to see you, my dear. Yes. So we're just hanging out, and I'm doing my typical kind of babble thing, um, talking a little bit about the changes that will be happening in 2025, just telling stories. We're all hanging out. Thank you, Kim. I did post a very heartfelt short about reaching 500. I really was. When it came in Friday night, Sophia Rasmussen, who was here with Lucky and I this past Friday, she put it out on social media like, hey guys, help my sister out. She needs just like 10 more. And that last 10, oh, it was almost agonizing. I mean, I just kept, not to keep checking, but that last 10, I just kept checking. And then I would put it down. Okay, let it go. Let it go. And through her posting that, she and I were DMing after the show and just great things, love bombing each other because I adore her. And she was like, Courtney, you hit 500. And I saw the DM and I just went, no way. Checked the page, the channel here, and it said 500. Y'all, I couldn't breathe. I'm going to cry again. It was such a release. I mean, love, gratitude. I can't even express because it was like, it was getting tight. Let's say that it was getting tight, especially working with Lucky. Lucky and I have been doing this for a year now with Esoteric Tea on Friday nights. Now in January of 2025, moving to Saturday, January 4th, 2025, moving to Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He and I had been doing this for a year in hopes of getting that last little bit towards the 500. So, uh, it's been a group effort. All of you subscribers, Sophia, Lucky, it's a group effort and it's a lovely community here. It really truly is. So I'm happy to be able to see more people coming in tonight. I love it. Yeah. And I hope everybody had a good holiday. Um, give or take. It is what it is, right? It's hard with holidays because we tend to have expectations, even if we say we don't or try not to. We do. This goes for humans, just general humans. Um, and it's society based, it's program based, it's memories based. Because the holidays when you're young, it's like so vibrant and full of life. And heck, you're a kid, you're vibrant and full of life. That to kind of mix adulthood and childhood experiences is, we're in our mind, we still think, can we get that? We kind of are chasing that. So in a lot of different various ways, there's usually some kind of expectations. And so I know many that kind of just at post holidays go, it was okay. When in actuality, it was exactly how it was supposed to be. It was pretty okay. Unless something, drama with the family, right? It was probably okay. And I would take an okay holiday over a not okay holiday. I also think humans somewhere in the mix, usually somewhere in this week, somewhere within this week, we tear up. It could be a Hallmark commercial, it could be a conversation, it could be we're just driving in the car. We might tear up. Some of us might full on cry. But yeah, it's interesting. It's not just me, it's not just, a selective few. It's interesting then we kind of try to swallow that or go, why am I crying? Or why this, why that? When really it's just the passage of time. And so it's a release, it's a acceptance, it's a joy, it's all this stuff really attached to a passage of time. And so we can accept it a bit more and go, okay, okay. And I love the fact that we celebrate. Period. Whatever it is. I think every day should be a celebration. I really do. I really do. Every day should be a celebration. But at least this time of the year can remind us of that. It can remind us that, yeah, every day there's light. You're light. You should celebrate it. Every day is a new day, death and rebirth, right? We should celebrate it. That's how I see it. So I love this time of year for that intent as well. That is a huge reminder that we could feel this way in love, in memory, in graciousness, in thankfulness, in all sorts of things, like all the time. Oh, see, Lucky even said it. Lucky just said the Christmas Shoes song. Yeah, I can never listen to that stupid song, he said. Exactly. I think we all have something that kind of, oh my goodness, gets us going. And it's beautiful. That's beautiful. I what I do love about the Christos, the the Christ consciousness in the body of form of Jesus, right? That's what happened there. What I do love about him and what he really focused on and how he really, because his teachings are different than the other masters, very much so. Um, and I think for me, it's because he focused so much on human emotions. Because oftentimes I'll get questions for the Akashic from people, I'm doing a reading for them and they'll ask me a question and it's related to, like how horrible humans are today or when did I ever have a good life, out of all the past lives? When was ever a good life? things like that. What I do know is that the human emotion has been the same from the beginning and is the same now. That's never changed. That has never changed. And so with the Christ consciousness in a body of form named Jesus, he talks so much about human emotions because when we look at it, our cultures can change, our um, technology, our architecture, our landscapes definitely can change. All sorts of things, our habits and behaviors can change socially, economically, right? The human emotions have been the same from the beginning to now. So, of course, when he kind of honed in on that, that's why it was able to spread as far. That's why it has spread so much today, is because of him honing in on that. It's what makes us unique. It's what makes us wonderful. And it's what makes us, no matter how those tears and emotions come out of gladness and love and romance and appreciation, whatever it may be, joy, or moments of remorse, moments of memories and, a bit of grieving, whatever it is, it's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful to be a human and be able to experience those, to live through it, grow, understand. It's just absolutely lovely, and it's the avenue as to how we experience our choices. It's the avenue how we experience these lives, and therefore it's the avenue that he was teaching through. It's wonderful. Yeah, Teresa just said a very emotional time through the year. So I'm just kind of putting that scope. I'm putting that scope out there. You can take what you want and leave the rest. You can, whatever resonates with you or not. Um, because we tend to downplay our emotions, or we tend to, some even heighten their emotions to avoid and deny getting to the true emotion, let's say, right? Like my emotion has always, my default emotion, as I call it, is anger, but it's usually because of fear or sadness, right? But I express it through anger, but it's because I would be too scared to look at the sadness, or I didn't want to identify what I was really afraid of, right? So it's so interesting. But once we do heal, grow, experience more, it's lovely. Yeah. Peace and love to you, Big Dan, Dad Standing Tall. Good to see you. Hey, did anybody get snow? I don't think anyone got snow. Did anyone out there in this great, beautiful world get any snow? I'm going to pull a card for everybody. Well, for the collective, I'm going to pull a card. For the beautiful collective here. Oh, see, not in Maryland. Really, not even up in New England. Damn. Well, I know down here we didn't get any snow. It got real hot. Well, I shouldn't say hot, but I don't know, it was like close to 60 something today. It's throwing me off. All right, let's pick a card for all the beautiful beings here. Something to look forward to. Whoop, 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 whoop. This one. Oh, y'all. Okay. So, Seeker of Truth Shelley in Northern California, up in the mountain area, she says they got snow and still have. Okay. So, you had a white Christmas. Wow. Oh, and lucky it snowed around Lucky in Massachusetts Tuesday morning. So I'm sure it was still around. Okay. Oh, thank you, Seeker of Truth, because I've been trying to. Oh, Shelly's beautiful. So, Seeker of Truth just said that, hey, Court, which y'all can call me Court, by the way. We're a lovely community here, and those who I'm close with call me Court. She said that Big Dad is Neil, her husband. Thank you, Shelly, because I've been trying to figure out who Big Dad Standing Tall is um, for a few days now. So appreciate you. Love you, Neil, for helping me with that. All right. Y'all, number 32, Merkaba came out. So apparently, well, let's read this frequency. The frequency of Merkaba supports our ability to use our consciousness to transverse into other layers of reality and dimensions. It activates our access to our Akashic inheritance as well, merging the totality of our experiences into our present to serve our highest purpose. Okay. Merkaba. I was wondering when I was going to share a little something something with y'all, and I think I'm going to do it now. Hmm. That's amazing. And all you beautiful patrons of Stars of the Morning Light, please notice all the beautiful pyramids and triangles. Woohoo! For those who don't know, that is often what we do at Patreon Stars of the Morning Light. You can subscribe for $5 a month, and we are a community. Um, we learn how to use pyramids, triangles to help each one of us manifest. And come probably mid 2025, we're going to learn how to join our individual pyramids together to form a very big community Merkaba. So that's something to be excited about coming I would say about mid 2025. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I do teach there twice a month. There's so much on there too that you can grab and pull from. Um, so Merkaba. Before I pull this card, I'm going to share something for those who have been here for a while at Stars of Morning Light and those who are new. Welcome. This past summer, end of July through all of August, through all of September, I was in my own um, work. I was going through another curriculum, deep healing, learning new skills, all sorts of stuff. It was it was very, very intense. And one of those things, an aspect to it, was I received a full soul retrieval and restoration. And now I do that for others. Seeker of Truth has done a full soul restoration. And that is exactly what this frequency says at the very end of this Merkaba. When it says it activates our access to our Akashic inheritance as well. That is what that truly means, folks. Like your Akashic inheritance is that all of us have infinite potentiality attached. Infinite. So when it's saying that it activates our access to our Akashic inheritance, that doesn't mean then everybody that gets a full soul retrieval restoration is going to just start accessing the Akashic. Can happen, definitely can happen. But what it truly means is that the awareness that you are creation itself, the awareness that you can create whatever life you choose fully comes. And it comes because of the next line here on this card. Merging the totality of our experiences into our present, so this present body of form, to serve our highest purpose. So what I went through, and I think 3 patrons have gone through this now. One just very recent, so he's getting the stuff going. Um, Imagine that you, your beautiful soul consciousness, your soul, from its origin, wherever your being began, however long ago it was, whatever planet, destination, multi-dimensional being self you are, imagine that at some point from the origin and all the lives that it lived through 1 cycle, 2 cycles, many lifetimes, all of it, all of them together. And even if you're out there living in different dimensions, all sorts of stuff, all of you, your complete awareness that is connected to the one, that is connected to the grand source, that is connected to beginning and end, infinite potentialities throughout all time and space, all of it, the totality. Now, this is going to be very hard to imagine. Imagine that coming into this, your current body of form. Yeah, that's what I was going through. um, Through the end of July into September, and my beloved teacher in this process did a couple things in reverse, and I know why, because I needed to experience it, let's say, a little bit more impactful to know what others might go through, because I was also being trained on how to do this for others, right? So there's really an anointing that needs to happen before it, right? There's an anointing that should happen prior, and then the full soul restoration. I'm offering that to patrons right now, for only just donations, because both the anointing and the soul restorations, because you know why? This is why, because I care more about this. To serve our highest purpose. That's why. To serve our highest purpose. That's why I do it. And then you become this. And then you become this. You do not, or at least the majority, will eventually get to this point that they do not question. They do not question consciousness itself. Itself. Yeah, it's lovely. So I have not, I mean, I've mentioned it here and there. I've, put a few things out there for those here on YouTube. I've mentioned it, but I don't think I've fully divulged what was going on there, and that was a big part of it. I mean, but I also learned a lot of things. I mean, um, I've been doing a lot of stuff, folks. So in 2025, for here at Stars of the Morning Light, first and foremost, Lucky Stone 888 and I are moving to Saturday nights come January 4th, 2025. We are moving to Saturday nights. Saturday nights. You know what, I'm gonna love it. It's gonna free Lucky and I up to really serve well and build community more. It's going to go well. So, all right. So, Shelly just saw, Shelly, you keep picking number 18, Cosmic Flower. You did that, I think, last Friday. Shelly's got the same Sacred Geometry deck. And I think you just keep picking that. So something in that card is for you, Miss Shelley, Seeker of Truth. She's got the same Sacred Geometry deck. And she usually picks a card while I pick a card. And I swear to goodness, lady, you did that last Friday as well. So something in that card, definitely the Cosmic Flower, has got you. Maybe I'll pull that out. I'll find it. Let's find it for everybody. Because we share here. We are a community of sharing. So, in 2025, as I search for this card, Lucky and I are changing to Saturday night. I am going to start doing shorter videos. I mean, I'll still do all my long stuff too, folks. I will. But I want to start doing some shorter videos, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. So I'm going to pull up. Shelly said, yes, please do. So Shelly, I'm pretty positive that Shelly picked this card last Friday morning, 11 a.m. when we were together, and she picked it again just now. So, and she's saying, yes, please read it. Show it to everybody. So I will. I will do that for Miss Shelly. Number 18, Cosmic Flower. The frequency of Cosmic Flower activates our remembrance of the place we call home, the core from which we pour our magnificence out into the world. Oh boy. All right, I'm going to hold this up. I got to kind of tilt my camera just a little, be gentle with the camera, trying to not get any glares. There we go. There's a little bit of a glare. That's amazing, guys. That's amazing. Cosmic Flower. So that's interesting, Shelly. So Seeker of Truth, who's in the chat, she had her full soul retrieval restoration, I think mid-September, somewhere in there. And so this actually goes with what I was talking about with the Merkaba. It definitely does. It definitely does. You Cosmic Flower. That's wonderful. I'm going to read that again. Cosmic Flower. The frequency of Cosmic Flower activates our remembrance of the place we call home. So your origin. The core from which we pour our magnificence out into the world. Oh, don't you just love the word magnificence? It's not used enough. I mean, you all are magnificent. Oh my goodness, it's such a good word. So it's like it's so strong, but yet sincere and gentle at the same time. It's such a powerful, beautiful word. Magnificent. Oh, maybe that's why it's not used enough, because we don't see enough of it anymore. We don't see how things can be magnificent. Oh, gosh, don't you just love hearing it? Activates our remembrance. I love that. That is actually the sole purpose of Stars of the Morning Light. I am truly honing the purpose of this channel, and that is definitely it. To help everybody remember, or just keep reminding everyone to remember. That's all I gotta do. I just gotta keep reminding everybody to remember. Just remember. I'm gonna pull us. This is a little sweet deck. It's the Divine Abundance deck. Divine Abundance deck. As I sat that awkwardly. Divine Abundance deck. So what people don't know, when I do readings, let's say I have an event, which I do. The 1st of January, I will be at Blue Sun Fusion Studio in Dalton, Georgia, doing Akashic readings. And then the 18th of January, I will be in Hickson, Tennessee, right outside Chattanooga, Bud's Creative Art Museum, doing readings. So even though I don't use cards for my Akashic readings, I have cards with me because oftentimes there's a lot of information that is presented to people, especially if it's their first time. They don't really know what to expect. They don't know what's really going on. And then all of a sudden, man, once the Akasha gets you for the first time, it's as if they just want to lay out everything because they never know if you're going to come back. So it's like, da 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 da. I got to just say everything, right? Um, so because so much kind of gets um, out there. I'm also running a deal in January too, even by phone, half off Akashic readings, so that would only be $35. Yep. I am the cheapest Akashic reader in the nation, I think. I'm pretty positive I am. I'm pretty positive I am. You know why? Because I know what my higher purpose is. And so I don't worry about anything else because I am a Merkaba. I'll just create it. So, and my skills and talents are here to help you remember you're just as amazing. You are great. I see that Susie came in. Yes, Susie K. Happy holidays, beloved. I really have been thinking about you so much, Susie. I'm very much hoping that this holiday season went smoother than last, and that our hearts have been with you, my dear. Yes, you're a blessing. So, oh, this card just flew out. This is our Divine Abundance card. I'm going to pull it up. Oh, Awakening. I swear my cards and I are so connected. Awakening. Oh, my Lord, wake me from life as a spiritual sheep. May I hear you through my own instincts and common sense. Oh, yes, wake me up. Wake me up. My own instincts and common sense. That beautiful intuition that can grow into very strong psychic abilities. I love the intuition. Um, my cards and I are so attached. I was talking about so much about remembrance. Well, wake up. Wake. Remember who you are. You're amazing. Cosmic flower, Merkaba. This is this is it right here, folks. This is it. This is it. Right here. This is all we need. This is all we need. Period. Beautiful. When I do readings, so at the very end, if I'm in front of you, I mean, I don't do this when we're on the phone, but I spend quality time with somebody on the phone. Um, when you're in front of me, at the end, I usually have 3 decks. And one of them is the sacred geometry, and then usually some kind of oracle decks, so as to not confuse the people so much. And I have that person pick the cards, take a picture of them, so because the cards will jog the memory of the reading. Because I don't have anything visual as I'm just doing my thing. Those cards, what they look at the picture later on, will jog all the information that came through. And then I learned this from an old school tarot reader. So any of you that are reading tarot, Maya might watch this. Others might watch this. Others might be watching it now. So if you're studying tarot, or if you're just kind of getting your stepping your feet in, getting your feet wet in to doing some tarot digs or gigs, you know, events or something. This was a very precious thing that I learned from a very old tarot reader. This was long ago. She would leave them with a card. So she would just have a simple oracle deck of some kind, and she would have the person draw it, and they would be thinking, "Oh, what's this?" And she would go, "This is everything right here, and it is yours. Take it home with you. It's what you're going to need to remember the most." Right? Put it on your mirror in the bathroom, do whatever you need, but that one goes home with you. So you don't forget this reading and you don't forget the messages sent, right? So not only do I have them pick like 3 cards because it's usually, if I'm in person, 3 questions. So my cards will line up with what's being said. And then I have them pick a card that goes home with them. Oh, divine love was at the bottom of the deck. Now we got to show that. Divine love. When you offer everything to the divine with detachment, you begin a love affair with spirit. Oh man, okay, I'm gonna do that again. Y'all, the next card was trust. Okay, so now we're at the bottom of the deck. We're just doing this. Let's be together and rejoice. So, divine love. I'm holding that back up because I know people need to hear this and see it and take it in. When you offer everything to the divine with detachment, you begin a love affair with spirit. This detachment is such healthy detachment. You know what that detachment is? It's detaching from judgment. It's detaching from judgment. Judgment is the only thing it's the only thing that actually keeps the matrix moving in operation is judgment. When we detach from judgment of self, when we detach from judgment of others, and in all a healthy way. This is not in some misconstrued, selfless thing. This is a healthy detaching from judgment, and then seeing how it is throughout every bit of bolt and screw and wiring and everything that makes the wheels on all the cogs of all the little parts of the matrix. It's judgment that keeps it moving. And so when we can start detaching from that, that is when, we go, I know who I am. I know who I am. I'm a Merkaba. I know who I am. I am the totality. I am consciousness itself. Take that in. Itself. It is. Oh man, and then the other card right behind divine love, which I know there's people that need to hear this too. Maybe we all do. It never hurts. Trust. 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 Allow me, divine, to give you my deepest longings, trusting you to know exactly how to handle them. In the next few weeks, I can guarantee, I can guarantee we will be talking about trust a lot because 2025 is going to be the year of trust, building trust. It's going to be that for everyone. If you haven't started already, trusting yourself, showing up for yourself, trusting another human, trusting the divine, I get started, man, because it's coming. You're gonna come with us anyways, you know? We're gonna have to be building that trust, right? Reestablishing trust, building trust, detaching in order to have trust. The only thing that creates lack of trust is the judgment that is usually presented. So if we detach from judgments, why wouldn't we trust? This is why Christ would say, well, just walk on water. Do you believe? Do you trust? Because it was that individual's judgment of self as to how they're different than the Christos for some reason, when the whole time he was trying to say, no, you're not. You can do this too. Just walk on water. Heck, I'll even put my hand out for you. There's many stories that he didn't. And then he was like, shoot, I'll even put my hand out to lift you out of the boat. Just walk on water. Judgment, self judgment as to the lack of faith. Mm, trust, trust. I love it. I love it. So, I have a bunch of new books that I will be doing like short story retellings. Lots of mythology. I really do want to do a lot of retells of mythology. Um, and I'm also going to be starting a series that sometime on Sunday. That's all I'm going to say. Sometime every week on Sunday, I will be releasing messages from Archangel Gabriel. So, what y'all don't know, I literally just told Lucky this like last Sunday when I was talking to him. We had a little powwow, Lucky and I did. He didn't even know. Um, y'all, like I was probably told maybe a year ago to start doing messages from Gabriel. Apparently, I need to work like very closely with Gabriel. I have not yet done that. I have not yet really come together with him the way I'm supposed to. Life was just a lot. But here's the thing. It was interesting when I was told all this. They said it was attached to what I talked about at the beginning of this. When the Akashic said you're going to have 500 in December. And then we want you to start putting out messages from Gabriel. And Gabriel was actually standing right there going, yeah, this is going to, you're going to do this in a loving way. Do know that when I'm retelling a story to you, I am using my own dialect. This is not exactly how the Akashic talks or Gabriel speaks, or even how I might speak to them. Um, it's just me using my own dialect to retell a story. Well, when that 500 did not come last December, well, we had a death in the family. There was so much going on this holiday season last year. Um, that I just went, well, you told me 500 was coming and I can't even get to Gabriel. And I just kept putting it on the back burner. Well, the 500, so then I'm talking to the Akashic earlier this month. And they're like, Courtney, you have to start it like in December. So heck, it might start this Sunday. You have to start it this December. And I was like, you told me I was going to have 500. Like a spoiled little brat. You told me this. And they said you will by the end of December. And I said, you told me that last December. And they said, we told you in December. So this is how all the correction was made. And then I just turned to him. I said, well, if you're telling me that I'm going to start these messages from Archangel Gabriel, which I am willing to do now, I think I fought it for a moment. I do. I think I was being stubborn. I really like my free will. I truly, truly love my free will. Um, I then turned to him. I said, well, if you're telling me I'm going to have 500 subs at the time that I start these messages, Well, and I said, "And you're telling me I'm doing it by the end of December?" I said, "Well, then y'all need to perform a miracle because I don't know how to get these 500 subs. I've been trying to for 3 years. So y'all gotta do it for me." That was, I think, a conversation I had with the Akashic, Gabriel present, um, I think like 3 days before that Friday night, the 20th, when before the 500 came in. So they performed a miracle. So y'all, you were every single one that might be listening now, listening later, praise you, thank you. You're part of a system of also miracles. Miracles. You all helped achieve a miracle that I put out there. Like I don't know how to get anymore. I'm strapped. Like I literally don't know what to do. There's some miracles. And it's miracles are attached to all of you. We think so much about this matrix and how it keeps us down and, the doom and gloom and the pain and suffering. But we're just as much attached to miracles as individuals in a collective. We're just attached to those as anything else. It's wonderful. So expect that. And I really do, because I said I was willing, I really do need to do it by the 29th, the end of December. So I will probably have a message out from Gabriel. So the retellings of a lot of mythology, the messages from Gabriel, and some other little things. I might start doing book reviews because I often get people that ask me about books or, do you have a book list, Courtney? I get that question actually often, but my book, when I recommend books to people, it's usually for that individual, but I might just start recommending books. So all of these would be much shorter videos, 20 minutes or so. So expect all of this in 2025. Lucky and I move into Saturday night. Weekly messages from Gabriel. Oh man, I can laugh and go, "Oh man," because let's just say I'm pretty sure I've worked with Gabriel before. Let's put it that way. Um, of course, the monthly Akashic readings, of course, Edgar Casey, of course, my Friday mornings, and of course, Esoteric Tea with Lucky. So I'm going to be a busy girl. I'm going to be focusing here on you all and definitely the patrons. Um, the patrons and I are gearing up to take a very, very deep dive into all his energy. A very, very deep dive. And I will go into so many areas so it can all the parts can come together for everyone. Yes. So that is what to expect. Now, why I said in the next few weeks you'll probably be hearing a lot about trust is because in 2025, again, I'm iterating it again. Lots of trust. Lots of trust. Okay, if I can say it this way. 2024 2024, if we know it or not, the energy was that all of us were planting seeds. Seeds in ourselves, either we continuously was reminding ourselves of great affirmations or continuously reminding ourselves, I really need to do this. Whatever that seed or multiple seeds, plural, were for you. And I'm bringing this up because many people might have not, probably weren't even conscious of it. Actually, like 98% were not conscious of it. but people were planting seeds. 2025 is working it, watering those seeds, maybe repotting the seeds, transplanting seeds, um, what all the stuff that you need to do, give that seed some food, keep it away from harm, whatever you need to do, give it positive energy, probably a mixture of everything. The work. So we planted, cool. We planted all of 2024, planted seeds, made decisions. We made decisions, planted seeds. 2025 is going to be the year of catering to those seeds, tending to those seeds, whatever words we need to use. Because 2026 is when we're going to need those seeds to be in full harvest. And they will be. And it's going to look different for everybody. I'll share with you that lovely event that I put on every April, New Earth Energy Market. It's on a pause right now because I chose to step down as apparently the sole coordinator for it. It was never meant to be just one person. It was meant to be at least three. So the workload, right? Because it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. And I don't make any money really. It's the amount of work and what I do bring in that day, which is anywhere from 400 to 600 bucks, and the amount of work I do all year long, very unbalanced. Very unbalanced. And I've done it 3 times now in hopes that others would start truly coming in and taking some of the load. Not so easy for people, but there were a few that were willing to take some of the load, right? But at the same time, I think there were a lot that were still intimidated, right? Because it is a lot of work. Um, so it's just on a pause because if things need to be revamped, like much smaller events throughout the year, groovy. Or if I can find people that can add, you know, to their already list, adding to helping me in some fashion or form, like communicating with all the vendors, that would be awesome. Then it'll get right back to where it's going. So it's just on a pause. That was a decision I made for myself. I had been thinking about it. I had been thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. It wasn't until like November that I made the decision. I was very clear with my decision. I then was transparent and clear with others. And now I mean the amount of I felt so free, folks. I felt so free. And I went, I get to focus on YouTube now. I mean, how many times was I pulled away, right? And I was like, I get to focus. And the moment I went, I am focusing on YouTube and the patrons. Steadfast focus, as my teachers would say. Steadfast focus. Focus. Well, then all of a sudden I get 500. See, all of this stuff kind of happened at the same time for me. All of 2021. Everything was happening at the same time. And like I said, originally that big event was supposed to be divided amongst 3 people as far as workload, which is reasonable then. Way more reasonable. So, steadfast focus, commitment, right? Conscious commitment, steadfast focus. And I went, this seed never actually sprouted anything. And it's just taken up space. I got something I could plant here. So I ripped it out and I'm putting something most beautiful in there, and that's everybody here. That's what we're doing. That's what everybody actually was doing in their own little ways. In their own little ways. Making decisions. Have we maybe not executed the decisions exactly yet? Maybe not. That's fine. But we have made decisions. We have planted some seeds that can help us execute those decisions. 2025, and I'm sure y'all are going to hear this again, is going to be taking care of all of that, all those beautiful little seeds. And as we know, those who grow anything, and I don't even grow stuff, those who grow any kind of plants know focused attention, focused commitment, right? You have to pay attention what's going on with those plants. And then you have to trust that what you're doing is helping. You have to trust that the sun and the moon are going to do their jobs too. You have to trust that the animals are going to stay away. You have to trust that that harvest is going to come in. So much trust. So much trust building. So much. 2025. Because, well, we're going to aim for 2026, like I said. But we're not there, folks. We're in the growing and the healing and the tending to ourself, to our loved ones, to what we know based on a lot of decisions in 2024, what is really needed. So I'm excited. And we walk this awakening together, right? We walk this awakening together. No one is alone here. So if you don't know how to tend to that one particular seed, I bet a friend here does. We walk this awakening together, and together, oh man, the harvest, right? Oh, beloved Teresa. Um, Teresa said that, so Teresa's down by Atlanta. I'm 2 hours away from Atlanta, by the way. Roughly. The way I drive, it's 2 hours. I drive even when I was young, my mom would pick on me and be like, "Man, you drive like every day is Sunday." She was picking on my own mother was picking on me because I know the rules of the road and I follow the rules of the road. That so for me, it's really like 2 hours. Anyways, so Teresa just said she wishes she did live closer because she would be able to help with the event, and she was saying she has attended these events, folks. Um, it's big for this kind of area, smaller southern, and do know, I mean, if I'm the one doing it, I am paying attention to everyone and everything. I'm remembering everything. I'm caring about all of the humans that walk through that door, right? So it is kind of quite a lot, and it is a year process. So she was saying if she lived closer, she'd be willing to help. But yeah, 2 hours is too far. Yeah, but I appreciate you saying so. Um, and then Teresa said, you've always said teaching was your calling. Yeah, I and Shelley agreed. Yeah, Shelley agrees that Court is a good teacher. So thank you. Um, I think teaching was always I tried teaching English, and I could only do like high school level. Really, I mean, I had to do middle school for a little bit, and that was well, it was middle school. That was just not a good fit for me, let's say that. I didn't mind doing high school. The whole game changed, and as I'm sure all of you know, all of I mean, we see it now, teachers just quitting in droves. It's a thing. Um, and I kinda came to understand that because of that, because I was not getting them until high school, it was too much on me then. I mean, No Child Left Behind meant I'm getting high school students that don't don't even know sentence structure. Well, then how am I gonna get them to write a paper? It was just too much. But I do love teaching. I love teaching. I love taking, yeah, anything, any story, and using it as a teachable. Because it can happen. The other night, I was here on this YouTube, personally, Courtney Mick, that's my personal, channel, just, looking around, and I plugged in unknown Christmas stories. I was sincerely looking for, like, is there stories I don't know out there about Christmas? I mean, Lucky and I covered Krampus. Lucky threw me for a loop on Friday this past Friday night with some Krampus stuff. I'm still This is talking about Friday night show. Lucky and I and Sophia covered Krampus. Lucky said that there's stories out there that he researched, and a few, 2 or 3 of them had said that if you were a bad kid, Krampus would, maybe hit you with a switch and or kidnap you to then go be a slave for Santa Claus. Like, he would bring you to Santa Claus. Man, it was hard for me to wrap my head around that Friday night, and it's still hard, but I wanna explain why. Maybe because y'all found out what Courtney was like as a 5th grader. I was cheating and stuff on my geography tests. If I was a kid, or when I was a kid, if somebody told me, "Hey, if you're bad, this big scary dude is gonna come and kidnap you and then bring you to the guy that is surrounded by toys, that is merry and jolly all the time, that is good and, surrounded by toys and probably cookies and hot cocoa and everything awesome. If my parents tried to use that on me, and I know I can hear Lucky right now. I can hear Lucky right now going, "Courtney, you're putting it into the context of today." I can hear you, Lucky. I don't think it matters if it's a kid of 1986 like me, or if it was a kid from 1686. I don't know if somebody told me if you're bad, you get to go hang out with all the toys and all the fun stuff and all the hot cocoa and a jolly old elf, I'd probably start tearing things up. I'd probably be like, "Cool, that sounds way better than this whatever I'm living through now, milking the cows every day, hail shuffling shoveling shit because that's what you gotta do when you own cows." Like, it would have sounded so better. It would have sounded great. I would have caused so much ruckus just to get kidnapped by Krampus. Because 'Cause I'd be like, "What's the switch? That's fine, hit me." And then I'd been like, "But take me to Santa Claus." That's where my logic was Friday night in the conversation about Krampus with Lucky Stone 888 and Sophia Rasmussen. That was my logic. Of like, "Wait a minute. Think of the living conditions, hundreds and thousands of years ago. Okay. Um, and somebody would kidnap me and bring me to, like, probably awesome living conditions." That was my thing. Or what That's what I was trying to say, is, like, it's very odd that we you're back then, it was like, "Santa's great. He gets women out of prostitution. He'll put snacks in your shoes. He'll do all this awesome stuff. And then you got this character Krampus, but yet you could get kidnapped by this one to then bring you to the good guy. Dude, I would totally have been like, yeah, let's, fire it up. Let's get kidnapped. I would have done something crazy. Yeah, exactly. Teresa just said, raise raise the rascal. I would have. So that was my logic. That was my pure logic on Friday night. And I've been thinking about it since. So I got to get my head around this Krampus character. I do think when Lucky really kind of started talking about he was probably a watcher of the land, a custodian of the land, right? A lord of the land, however, whatever words you want to use. Um, some kind of entity that way, especially if he relates more to the elementals. Um, I think that's what it was because those do exist. Those very much exist. Very, very much. So, I think that's what Krampus probably was. That I give Lucky Stone 888 all the credit there in, divulging, like, that information, that he was actually good with the humans originally and for a very long time until the narrative started to change, and he was an elemental who probably watched over all of everything, right? It was his woods. It was his elementals, that would mean wherever that particular Krampus, and Lucky even said there's probably a ton of different quote unquote Krampuses around, all over the parts of the different lands, right? But let's take that one particular one. If it is an elemental, then that would mean that that land is its origin. It was created in that land. So then it has more authority domain over that particular area. So then it would be a watcher. It would be, looking out for a lot of different things. And also, keeping everything running in accordance to what it had always known and preferred, right? Let's put it that way, right? So I think it was probably something like that. I do agree. I totally agree. Um, I think with the stories aspect, because like I said, I'm going to be doing mythologies, I'm going to be doing all sorts of stuff. I think that's where the teacher part comes in. And I know for its fact one of the reasons. There's a few reasons as to why I'm allowed to access the Akashic. There's many people who try. There's many people that try to go through the back door. There's many people who think they do, and that's the scariest. Um, One of those reasons is my appreciation for stories. Like, I don't judge stories. This is going to sound very odd. I don't judge stories. Now, I might prefer some over the other. I might, as a personal writer, I would be like, ooh, I would have done something over here or this and that. But I don't judge it as it's good, it's bad. And actually, in my training in college at learning how to write, we had a lot of back, feedback, but it was never in any criticism. You were never allowed, as you're in a group discussing what was just read or written, no student was ever allowed to say this is bad or this is good at all. So I had 4 years of training myself to not say that, not see it that way, which was actually brilliant on the department heads of the writing department. It's very unique. So we didn't get the same kind of criticism as others do. How we had to do it then is as we're reading any of my material, somebody else's material, or a published material, okay? But we're quote unquote critiquing it. Remember, nothing is good or bad. In a discussion, then, we would then have to pose questions or give a very well, that would be, we would do these things called retells, which is what I do for you. When I read them a story and then I retell it, right? Without having to use any kind of copyright laws, right? Um, a retell is when in college is, let's say I read your material or we read it out loud the week before. Well, then the following week during the beginning of class, we would all do retells. We're honing our storyteller, right? We're honing it. And in a retell, let's say I choose your story because that's what came back to me. But I was like, ooh, I'm thinking they missed the mark with this scene. Well, then in my retell, I would embellish for that person. I would um, retell it how I would see that scene go. So that was one way to not give any criticism, as in this is good or bad or lacking. This is to inspire, which I was actually really good at that part. But then let's say we are kind of discussing things. We just got done reading everybody's stuff. We're discussing things. Instead of any criticism, we would pose questions. So kind of the same thing. In somebody's material, like, ooh, I think that's lacking, or I don't think that character would do that, or you lost me way early on because it was just flat. Like these are maybe the thoughts that are going on in your head, right? Well, then you pose a question. Well, if her boyfriend left to go to Minnesota, what if he ran out of gas halfway through? That's a question, right? And I'm talking about this is facetious, or, I'm just making this up, out of characters. If you're saying that her boyfriend went to Minnesota, well, what would happen if she called his house and he picked up the phone? That kind of thing. So there was never good or bad. Never. But posing questions, hypothetical what ifs, or retelling it to invoke inspiration. I spent 4 years doing that of my life. That's what I did. So, out of that, I would say my teaching style as to what, public schools want is very different. So I just wasn't gelling. But that's also kind of what I do here. Try to pose questions, try to invoke inspiration, and that is also part of why I can attach myself. I can read. I can go to the Akashic. I can speak to the Akashic. I can see all of these beautiful past, present, and future potentiality stories because I'm not looking at it as right or wrong. I never have. I never have. I mean, I have my pockets of, oh my goodness, in my head, but I've never seen it right or wrong. And all the stories within the Akashic, which is all of you, all that has always been, that it is the waters of creation, the infinite potentialities, the totality of consciousness, all of that is absolutely amazing and beautiful and uh, words almost can't describe. And it's because of the appreciation I have for each story, each story, which the stories are really just frequencies, by the way. But each story, they're vibrations. but each story. And that's so when I first was able to fully get into the Akashic, and they're working with me and they're working with me, and they're like, okay, Courtney, you're now allowed. Yeah, well, yeah, no, I think they used the word allowed. Yeah, because I was being very respectful. I think they said, you're allowed to go read for others now. I was like, really? And in kind of my humbled state in that moment, I think I did ask something along the lines of, like, why do I get to be present here? And that was their first response, amongst some other stuff. But that was their first response. They said, you love all of the stories. And I said, you always have. And I said, I do. I love all of these stories, all of the stories, which I do. I love all of the stories. And that's why I can look at each human and just go, you're an amazing story. You are a miracle. Keep writing, keep writing, keep working it out, keep moving those characters around. It's so amazing. It really is. So, oh, I'm getting emotional now. Oh, right at the top of the hour. So, oh, getting emotional. Definitely. Um, I'm happy everybody could come in. If you're catching this later, what fun we had. I babbled the whole time, folks. I did not know what I was going to talk about because I wanted to prepare some stuff and I just wasn't getting to it. So I appreciate everybody listening to me babble. And for those who listened this entire time, I really appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up, leave a comment below. We were discussing at the very beginning of this, if you do have a Christmas dinner or holiday dinner, what time of the day do you eat? Do you eat at noon? Do you eat at like 2 o'clock? Do you eat at 4 o'clock? What time of the day do you eat? Curious minds want to know. See, those are the details to the stories that I think are just wonderful. I think they're great. Oh my goodness, it's so wonderful. So, thank you everybody who came in. I think we've had hopefully a good time. We were just relaxing, winding down, listening to me. I hope everybody had a great time. Friday, I will be here live at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do believe we should still be in the Magi because I never got to really put a big, nice bow on that one. Um, which is good. I mean, we're still at the holidays. I can talk about the Magi at any time because of who they really were. That'll be Friday morning at 11 a.m. And then Friday night, so December 27th, Lucky Stone 888 and I here at 8 p.m. for Esoteric Tea. I'm not really sure what the topic will be. We'll figure it out. If you want to leave a comment below, tell Lucky and I what we what you want us to talk about. That'd be awesome. That'd be so groovy. Thank you. Um, and then we'll be moving to Saturday. We will continue to remind everybody. So, Merry Christmas to my house, to yours. Merry Christmas. Oh, there's no separation. And so I'm hoping that the spirit of the season flows even more so with all of us. Truly and grateful. Oh, lovely. Teresa said she's chilling with a glass of wine and us. Fun times. Excellent. Beautiful beings. You lovely, lovely, lovely stars. You lovely frequency vibrations that tell the most amazing stories. The most amazing stories. I love you dearly. Happy holidays. This is Courtney sounding off because, man, I could be with you all night. Thanks, everybody. Bye.